All right. So you got the attendees, I'm assuming? You're all set?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So we have two sets of minutes that were sent. We have minutes from November 4th meeting. That was the meeting with we had the public forum after the meeting.
All right, Mr. Chair, Mike Ward, make a motion to approve.
I got a motion by Mike Ward,
I'll second it.
second by Mike Moran. Any discussion? All right, roll call vote. Mike Ward,
Yes.
Mike Moran,
Yes.
Brian Delory,
Yes.
Larry Crosman,
Yes.
Chris Magliozzi.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We have meeting minutes from November 10th.
Sorry, just approving minutes.
Nice.
And it's the same. Mike Ward, motion to approve.
Got a motion from Mike,
I'll second it again.
second from Mike Moran. Any discussion? All right, we'll have a roll call. Chris Magliozzi,
Yes.
Mike Ward,
Yes.
Mike Moran,
Yes.
Brian Delory,
Yes.
Larry Crosman.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. All right, now we get an update on the building progress, building design progress.
Okay. Got some slides I want to share, unless you need to add anything, Dan.
No, I'm pretty good.
Okay.
Do we know if they went and made holes today?
I don't know the answer to that. It was their
I
plan was actually yesterday, but I didn't hear.
I'll follow up on that tomorrow, Murray.
I don't think they drilled
Okay,
anything
thanks.
there. The layout is up there, but nothing's been drilled.
Okay. Okay. Can folks see that okay?
Yep.
I got a couple of things I want to touch on site analysis. There was some questions and some suggestions that came up last time, and so we just wanted to kind of go through this process again a little bit with you, kind of a review, and let you know what the kind of thinking is behind some of the moves that we made. Part of the changes we've got to show you in the plans and the site plan are based on some of the feedback we got at the last couple of meetings we've had. Since we met, we also met up at Ridgefield. Got about 50 people at that public meeting, which was great. And there was some familiar faces and some folks I don't recall seeing before. But they had some good feedback and comments and so forth as well. So on the site analysis, I'm going to touch on that first. And then I've got revised floor plans, and then we've got a revised site plan. And we have massing models, and I'll touch a little bit more on massing models. But just to kind of revisit this, obviously you're familiar with the neighborhood. Central Park down on the bottom left, Senior Center on the bottom right, the town hall, the old library is here, the Verizon building is there, and this is our site. I mean, it's a nice big site in the center of town, so I mean it's great for a variety of reasons. But we do have some residential neighbors kind of all around us, and we're trying to be sensitive to that. We understand that we're a public building. We need to kind of walk that line between a public building and being friendly and not overwhelming the neighbors. We're also close to downtown, as it was pointed out to us on multiple occasions, and we are cognizant of the visual connection between the downtown and the building. The site itself, this is the survey that we showed you before, and we just overlaid this with an aerial, and you can see there's that sand lot in the front, and then there's an opening in the trees in the back when there's some vehicles parked up here that we think belong to the neighbor. And then most of the upper portion of the site is wooded, and we'll obviously be removing some of that. Verizon is down here on the bottom left. North is, we've straightened this out a little bit so that it kind of is square to the building and so forth. But north is at about 11 o'clock, and so south is down at about 5 o'clock. And so sun comes up at the rear portion of the site, rides around, and it's going to go down at the front of the site, obviously depending on the time of year and so forth. But the south face there, thinking about things like the potential for solar, for photovoltaics on the roof potentially, sun coming in, northern light from the opposite side, clerestory windows, a lot of the things that we've kind of been talking about and people have suggested that we consider. This is that image we got from one comment that included this photograph. This photograph is actually great. All the other photographs we have that we took on site and that you see on Google, all the leaves are on the trees, so it's difficult to see the site from here. But this is obviously where the building is going to sit, standing here at Central Park. It's going to be an important part of downtown. It's going to be one of those buildings that you see. And we want to be careful about that. And we also want people to be able to see it and be drawn to it. And, you know, so obviously we don't want to look like a house, which is what this building looks like, and we don't want to look like a brick box like the Verizon building. There isn't a real kind of signature style downtown, so but it's kind of a mixed bag, and that's kind of what we're thinking about. So floor plans. We've got some revisions from the floor plans, and this is based on feedback we've had from you all, from the Board of Library Commissioners and so forth. A lot of the same kind of big moves are still here. We try to clarify some things on the plan that I think helps with the flow and so forth. So this is the lower floor street entrance. So we've got a door that comes right out to a plaza that faces the street so that folks can see it from the road. We've also got one that faces the parking area that rides up the slope. And we've moved that entrance up to the north so it's closer to the pedestrian and the vehicular access so that folks don't have to walk down to this corner of the building from the parking lot and so forth. As we mentioned to you last time, we're looking at an accessible path that rides up along the side of the building here. And it will probably be slightly steeper as it goes along the parking lot in some places. But we will have an accessible route that gets you up to the back portion in the main entrance for night meetings and so forth. So down on the lower level, obviously, if you're coming down the stairs from the mid-level or coming off the elevator from the mid-level or coming in from the main entrance, we've got these things kind of lined up with a good view from one end of the building into the other so you can orient yourself. And the circulation desk really sits in the middle of that. So regardless of where you're coming from, the circulation desk has a pretty good handle on what's going on so they can see things. And you can see them when you come in so that you help orient you. Right across from the circulation desk is new books and reading. So this is where you might get the latest DVD or new bestseller. Library of Things is right here in case you want to check that out. You need help with the desk. Self-check is near the desk as well. And so are the computers. And then right across the way here, we've got the director's office. The director's office has a good visual connection with the circulation desk and the computers in case anybody needs help or backup. And we've got the Friends book sale room and sorting spaces here, local history, and then electromechanical. Behind the circulation desk, we get the workroom. There's a small computer study room that's close to the computers. And then the server room is right off the workroom, as is the Library of Things storage. Then we've got a couple of additional toilets down here so you don't have to go up half a level to use the bathroom. And we pulled those away from the front here, got them closer to the desk so folks can keep an eye on them. Then we have a stair that can take you upstairs. And this could be an emergency exit or it could be open to the public. It's a policy decision. We want to design it so that you could use it either way, depending on how you want to. We've got a book drop close to the street and the parking area on a lower level. And then we've got our quiet study rooms across the front, looking out towards a plaza and a potential garden at the front. If we go upstairs, one of the bigger moves that we made here is we took the split level floor here and we flipped it north to south. And so the makerspace now is up at the top on the north and the meeting room is down on the south. There's a couple of reasons we did that. We actually took the main body of the building and slid it northward so it's a little closer to the parking area. And that opens up a lot more green space on the south side of the building, and we're trying to take advantage of that. Along this accessible path here, we'd like to do some things like small places to stop, a bench, little garden, a place where you could go out and read a book and take advantage of the south side of the building over here where it's sunny. Taking advantage of views that come out of the building from both floors out to this area as well. And they may be better than looking out across the parking lot and at the neighbors, depending on the cars they have in their yard and so forth. We're trying to take advantage of these views out to the garden area and then out to the center of town. So that's part of the reason that we did this flip. The other reason we did that is that we've created this plaza up here, and it spills out directly from the meeting room out of the emergency exit. So you could use this thing as this kind of space as an outdoor place, and it could support the meeting room if people were going to flow out for an intermission or something like that. We've also tried to open up the cafe space, the lobby space a little bit more, and create an informal space that you could utilize as a cafe. Now, cafe doesn't mean that you have to have coffee and treats and so forth. What it really means is it's a slightly louder part of the library where people might kind of hang out and chat, and where they're not going to be bothering people. This is something that's become very popular in libraries in the last 20, 30 years or so. And having a space like that, I think is helpful. So you come in the main door and you can go up or down the stairs or get on the elevator and go up or down half a level to get down to the adults or up to children's. There's a couple of additional toilets on this level, and then we've got that emergency exit that comes out of this space, so that when this space is closed down at night, the meeting room has a second means of egress, but the rest of the space here doesn't have a second means when it's closed down. So if you do come up the stairs here, I should point out there's a book drop here, and then book bike storage and outdoor storage is on the side here. So if you come up half a level or take the elevator up half a level, right off of this kind of upper lobby, we've got a staff break room and toilet. There's some additional public toilets here. Children's program storage and children's program room, which is right off of children's. When you get right into children's desk has good visibility of these doors kind of looking along the side here. And they've got good visibility of this kind of baby and toddlers area. And the bookshelves aren't too tall. They're lower over in the younger kids section, so we've got pretty good visibility of the tables as far over as the windows over in here. It's going to be a little bit harder to see these tables over in here, so we could take a look at swapping some of this with some of the book stacks and getting those a little closer, or maybe even turning the book stacks 90 degrees. It's one of those things that we haven't really nailed down yet. Close to the desk, we've got tweens, and then again, your kind of AV new books collection near the door. Right behind the children's desk is the workroom, is the storage room that's associated with the children's, and then the program room again. Opposite the desk is teens. They've got their own entrance off of the library, but then there's also a door so that the children's librarian can get in there. There's a small child study room, and then the nursing and family toilet is associated with the small kids in the baby and toddler area. Again, you can see this accessible path making its way up to this plaza. And we can do this at 1 to 20 so that we don't need rails and ramps and so forth. And so we've got accessible parking close to both of these doors. All right, so site plan, got a diagrammatic site plan here. So this has been working with our civil engineers. We had the path, when they originally drew it, we had the driveway on one side and then it rolled over to the other side, and we've talked to them and we flipped it back again. So the driveway runs up alongside and the parking is against the building, and that we can get the grading to work there. And we're showing a total of 59 parking spaces here, and we can still get this small plaza. So I know that we talked about one of the things we wanted to do is have a spot where children could go outside that isn't necessarily out in the front, close to the road. So they'd have an opportunity to have a space that they could have a program outside. Now this isn't designed yet, but the idea is this is a placeholder for some things, and there could be some seating there, or we may build in some planters and so forth, separate that from the cars and so forth. But that's the idea. It needs a little bit more development. And then we've got kind of a lower section here, and then some additional grade that we're picking up, and then a higher section of parking. And then we're picking up the grade in this island right here, and we're showing some planting there. Now, we may have a rain garden or something in there. We don't know until we do a little bit more design work. All right. And then the last bit I have is massing models. Now, massing models are kind of what they sound like. These aren't designs, although the beginnings of some of that stuff is starting to show up. It's really about the scale of the building and the size and the forms that it take, how it fits on the site and so forth. And so we've got a couple different colors on here. They don't really represent fixed materials yet. We have some ideas of where the windows are going to go, but we haven't really done the design work. But rather than just show you kind of a plain box, we did put some windows on and some roof overhangs and so forth to give the thing a little scale so folks can understand it. So I'm just going to walk you through those. We've got 4 images. So this is from the street, slightly north of the building, looking back. So the Verizon building would be over on the right-hand side here, and this is the driveway going in. And so we've got the street entrance down at the lower level here with a door that comes out to the parking area and another door that goes out to the plaza facing the street. The idea here is we have a slope form. This roof faces south, and so there's the potential for photovoltaics on that roof. And by bumping it up here a little bit, we've got some clerestory windows, and we can bring some nice blue northern light without a lot of glare in and light up, get some natural light into the center of the plan. These tall windows also help us do that into children's by letting us get light pretty deep into the children's department because there's an open space here on the second floor. Going up around the back, you can see there's the maker space and there's the bike storage. So that's children's up there. And then down below, the quiet studies and the adults department is in there. And you can see as the grade climbs up, we've got kind of regular windowsill height, whereas we're down pretty close to the floor here as we get down closer to the street. But we're still able to get some kind of windowsill height spaces in the workroom and so forth behind the desk. And these windows would go into the children's workroom. Just to orient folks. Here's coming around the back. So there's the main entrance coming in off the parking lot. There's that small plaza. Got a little higher section here in the meeting room. And then a little lower section over this entrance in makerspace. And again, there's a look at those clerestory windows bringing light into the center of the building on the upper floor. Book drop right there. Little canopy over the door. Emergency exit out of the lobby space. And this would be the parking along the slope facing the building. So here's a shot again from the street, but on the south side. There's the meeting room out there poking out. There may be some windows up that will end up in there. We haven't really designed that. Looking at some options for windows here. So again, children's department up at the top. Some great views out to these kind of garden spaces and this accessible path that runs up along maybe some places to sit, chat with your friends, take advantage of the nice weather, create some nice views looking out these windows. There's the entrance that faces out towards the parking lot and towards the street. We're looking at a little patio plaza here. Probably do some planting along between the patio and the entrance plaza in the street. I'm just kind of roughing that in right now. And again, there's that southern sloping roof that we could potentially do photovoltaics on. And the last view we have is kind of similar to that photograph taken from Central Park. So you're kind of standing on the corner of Central Park here on the sidewalk, looking up towards the building, and there's the Verizon building. There's that Victorian on the corner that apparently used to be a store at some point. And there's how the building kind of addresses the street. Lots of glass on the street and facing out to the south. There's that garden space along in there. So we're really trying to make it inviting, make it obvious that it's a public building. You can imagine some signage potentially over the canopy here that would say library, or on the face of the building potentially, to kind of draw people down there. My show.
I think it looks great.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good start for sure. Obviously, it doesn't show what types of materials or what the building's
Right.
made out of, but that's fine, you know, that's
Can I make a
Sure.
comment, Mr. Chair? I will disagree. I'm actually pretty disappointed. I think it's a big box and it's in a Victorian neighborhood next to beautiful Victorian structures, next to an Italianate town hall. And it doesn't reflect what our town center looks like at all. It looks like a big square box, like a elementary school, frankly. So I would have to tell you that my own opinion is I love the plan and I love the site, but I really don't like the architecture of the massing of the box. I don't think it's in keeping with that neighborhood. I mean, I know the Verizon building is a very ugly take on that corner, but you know, it's basically a big square box with a flat roof on it for solar panels. So I don't know, that's my take. So
Okay, well, our feelings aren't hurt. We'll,
no, I mean, listen, I know that's very beginning, and I would, like I said, I think the plan is really good, and I think the site plan is really good. I just, but I'm only one person, and probably one of these two.
No, I think you're right. I think it surprised me when I saw that and that look in that neighborhood.
So, I know it's not going to be a detailed as a lot of the structures around it because we frankly couldn't afford to build it like that. But on the other hand, I personally would like it to be reflective of some of that stuff and the stuff you see around our town square. I mean, we're replacing, and the other thing is from an emotional point of view, we're replacing this Carnegie building that the town loves and we've had identified as a really nice, familiar structure. And it's a big leap architecturally from the current library to this thing.